Hi, welcome to our July 2020 update preview. My name is Nicole Severiano, and I'm the Senior Account Manager.
And I'm Kevin Smith. I am the Director of Product Development, and we have a lot of really cool stuff we want to show you.
So what we are going to go over today is some of our major enhancements that we have coming. We have enhancements to our assignments, badges, as well as a new full-time budget game.
Okay, so let's get started by talking about what we're doing to make assignments even better than they have been before.
So it's always been a struggle for any student to actually complete their assignments. So what we've done here is made the assignments a lot more engaging and a lot more encouraging for them to complete them.
So the next time you're using PersonalFinanceLab, we have a few new options for you as a teacher when you create your assignments. The first one you'll notice right here is called a reward. Every time you set up an assignment, you have the option to give your students a reward for when they finish it. So for example, you can choose to give them a reward for their stock game or their budget game and a number. So whatever your number you put here, this will be credited to their account as soon as you finish all the tasks you ask them to complete. So for the stock game, this is cash that gets added to their investment portfolio. For the budget game, it's a cash deposit that gets added to their checking account. So there's never been a better incentive for students to finish their assignments on time than to give them an instant boost to their class rankings. On the other side here, we have a new option called a prerequisite. With a prerequisite, you can require your students to finish a previous assignment before they begin the next one. So the typical way a teacher would use this would be, for example, I want to set up an assignment for my class each week. And I have a certain number of lessons I want my students to finish in a certain order, and I want them to do a certain number of things in the stock game and budget game. But it might be that not all of the students finish on time. And I want to make sure that the students still have an opportunity to finish, but I want to make sure that they don't do things in the wrong order. I still want to have a sequence to it. So the way I would do this, I would create my week 1 assignment. I would give it the start date of today and an end date of a week from now. And then I would create my week 2 assignment with the start date a week in future, but then I would have that as a prerequisite for week 1. So it makes a little bit more sense when I show you how it works in the real world, so let me show you right here. So this is the first assignment that I'm setting up. We'll call it my week 1 assignment. I'll have it starting this week today, and I'll have it end 2 weeks from now. So on Friday, July 17th at midnight. So for this assignment, I'm going to have my student do the first 10 actions in the stock game. I want them to understand what it means to build their portfolio, so that's what we're going to do. I click Create, and my assignment gets set up for my class. Alright, now that I have my assignment for the first week set up, I would go in to create my next assignment. So I click Create my next assignment. Now I want to set up my next assignment for week 2. I'm going to have this start a week from now. So my students can't access it quite yet. I'm going to call it my week 2 assignment. And I'm going to want them to complete the next set of lessons. So all these intermediate lessons to learn a little bit more about investing. In order to set this up, I'm going to set the prerequisite to finish the week 1 assignment first. This means that when week 2 comes around and this Monday comes up and my students come into class, the students who've already finished the week 1 assignment can start the week 2 stuff right away. But if a student hasn't finished their week 1 assignments yet, they need to finish those first before they can access the next set of lessons. So you can use this without worrying about the start and end dates at all if you want to have an entirely self-paced course for your class. So by mixing and matching the start dates, end dates, and prerequisites, you have a really well-paced class where your students have a good incentive to finish everything on time, but if somebody's a little bit farther behind than anybody else, they're not left out of the entire learning experience.
So one of our other greatest updates is the curriculum update. We have worked with a new team of teachers to get it updated and to be as great as we can.
Yep, so all new. The lesson list hasn't really changed very much, so whatever you're using last year, it's going to be all looking very familiar. But we've gone through every lesson. We've got it updated with new content for 2020 to compensate for new tax laws, how health insurance things have changed, and a general refresher.
So in the past, our rankings page was definitely the most engaging page, but that can always get a little bit boring when you just see numbers ranked 1, 2, 3, 4. Now with our new update, there's some new badges that will make it even more interesting for students to have a look at from day to day.
Yep, the new badge system is going to be a bit of a game changer for your class. We're hoping this brings your classroom engagement to a whole new level. As your students go throughout Personal Finance Lab, they have the opportunity to earn these badges by making trades in their stock portfolio, doing certain actions in the budget game, completing certain lessons in the curriculum library, and all kinds of other stuff. Now, the advantage here is that when your students are working towards their assignments, they are encouraged to go above and beyond the core things that you would ask them to do as part of their class. Because as they improve their mastery of each concept, their badges level up and they can show them up on the rankings page. To give you an idea of what it looks like, let's dive in. Now, when your students log into their Personal Finance Lab account, there's going to be a new item under Dashboard on the main menu called Achievements. This is going to show all the achievements they can earn throughout the site. Down here is the list of in-progress ones. These are the badges that are coming up that I can earn. So by clicking on a badge, I can see what I need to do to earn it. So for the CA stock trader, I need to trade some Canadian stocks. As they complete the tasks, the progress bar levels up to show them how much closer they are coming to earning each badge. Once they earn a badge, it appears up here on their My Achievements list. And by clicking each badge, it makes it active, which means that it's going to appear throughout the site for their students as an avatar. So as they improve the mastery of each concept, they go from the green novice badges to the gold or yellow intermediate badges, to the dark and magenta expert badges, and then finally there's a whole other level of the purple and green colors of Personal Finance Lab to show their complete mastery. Now once I've selected my active badge, if I go back to my dashboard, you can see it appears on the side of the page here, and if I go to my rankings page, I can see the badges of everyone else who's in the class. If I click somebody else's badge, I can see all the other badges they've earned and what I would need to do to earn each one. So for most of these badges, it would require things that you may or may not actually require students to do in class, which adds an extra incentive for them to explore the Learning Center, explore different ways to manage their portfolio, and different ways to generally improve their personal finance literacy. Later this summer, one of the new enhancements they're working on is after students earn a certain number of the full mastery badges, there will be a certificate that they can earn to print off and show their mastery of each concept.
So right now with the budget game, you are a college student and you're working a part-time job. You're learning not only how to save money and build your credit score, but you must do all this while working, going to school, socializing with your friends, and keeping up with your household chores.
With our new update, one of the most frequent things that teachers were asking us was for a way to have students have a full-time job instead of just being a part-time student, part-time worker. Now, our new update adds not only this new full-time mode, but it also adds the ability for students to graduate from part-time to full-time, so you have that full transition and the students have the full learning experience through the entire class. So let me give you a quick look of what it looks like as a teacher when you want to set up your class. Now, our budget game has always been extremely customizable, where there's tons of different settings you can set for each of your students' bills. But with this new mode, there's a few new settings that you can play around with. So for example, you would decide how your students start the game. Are they going to be starting as a part-time worker or a full-time worker? If they're a part-time worker, you have the option to let them graduate after a certain number of months in the game. After the certain number of months that you specify, their game will switch to where they get a screen showing that they graduated from college, congratulations, but now you need to start your full-time job. As before, there's a total number of months to complete, so this is the total number of the months the students would complete in their job. But for most of the other settings in the game, you would choose what happens while they're a part-time student and a full-time worker. So what kind of wage do they earn at their job, for example? What do they have for each of one of the bills? We're assuming in the game that we have now that each part-time student probably has roommates which they need to use to pay all of their bills. So the bills that we would have set by default for the part-time student is pretty low. The full-time worker, the bills tend to be much higher to recognize what it's like to live on your own in your own apartment for the first time. Each full-time worker also has extra bills they need to pay that aren't in the original game. We've added student loan payments and health insurance bills to make it even more realistic for a student who just graduated college, the kinds of expenses they would be expecting to pay. Full-time workers also have a whole new set of life events that can affect them throughout the game, usually with much higher price tags. Generally speaking, working as a full-time worker in the budget game is a little bit harder than it is as a part-time student because there's far more demands over their time and their money.
So if you need any further information on any of these updates, you can always reach me, Nicole, at PersonalFinanceLab.com, or my colleague, Kevin, at PersonalFinanceLab.com. Thanks so much. We look forward to hearing from you.
Yep. Have a great day.